The voice in your head that never stops talking isn't you. It's the mental parasite that's been destroying your happiness for your entire life. And until you recognize it for what it is, you'll remain trapped in a prison of your own making. You know the feeling, don't you? You hit the goal, you get the promotion, you buy the thing you've been wanting, and for a moment, just a brief, fleeting moment, you feel complete. Then it fades, and you're back to that gnawing sense of not enough, not successful enough, not wealthy enough, not recognized enough. So you chase the next thing, and the next, and the next. But here's what no one tells you. The problem isn't that you're chasing the wrong things. The problem is that you've confused who you are with what you have, what you do, and what people think of you. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why this happens. And more importantly, you're going to discover a way out, a path to a deeper peace that doesn't depend on your achievements, your possessions, or anyone's approval. This is the ego trap, and it comes from Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Sarah. Sarah was dying. Cancer had ravaged her body, and the doctors gave her only months to live. In one day, her priceless diamond ring, an heirloom from her grandmother, went missing. She was convinced it had been stolen by her caretaker. She was furious, devastated. This wasn't just a ring, it was a piece of her identity, her history, her grandmother's love made tangible. Her spiritual counselor asked her a question that changed everything. Is it wrong to be upset about losing the ring? Of course not, she said. This was my grandmother's ring. It's more than just jewelry. The counselor paused, then asked, do you realize that you will have to let go of the ring at some point, perhaps quite soon? How much more time do you need before you're ready? Then came the question that shattered everything. Has who you are become diminished by the loss? Sarah's mind immediately answered, yes, of course I've been diminished. But then the counselor said something crucial. Don't think the answer, feel it. And in that moment, Sarah did something she'd never done before. Instead of thinking about who she was, she felt into her being. And suddenly she could sense something underneath all the thoughts, all the stories, all the possessions. She could feel her I am-ness. If I can feel the I am so strongly, she said, then who I am hasn't been diminished at all. The ring was real, but it had only ever existed in her head as a thought with the words my and mine attached to it. She confused a thought about an object with her sense of self. And here's what's beautiful. In her final weeks, Sarah started giving away her possessions. With each thing she released, her joy didn't decrease, it deepened. People who visited her said she became more radiant, as if light were shining through her fading body. She had discovered what Tolle calls the greatest human realization. You are not your possessions, your achievements, your body, or your thoughts. You are the consciousness that witnesses all of these things. Here's the mental shift you need to make. First, understand what the ego actually is. It's not some evil force. It's simply the part of your mind that identifies with form, with things, thoughts, roles, and labels. The ego says, I am my job title. I am my net worth. I am my reputation. This identification creates a false sense of self that always feels incomplete because forms are temporary. They change. They disappear. And deep down, the ego knows this, so it lives in constant fear. Second, recognize that the voice in your head, the one that's constantly judging, comparing, worrying, and narrating your life, is not you. It's the ego. Most people are so completely identified with this voice that they think it is them. But if you can hear the voice, who's listening? The listener is the real you, the awareness behind the thoughts. That awareness is what Tolle calls presence, or consciousness itself. Third, practice the simple act of observation. When you catch yourself thinking, I need this to be happy, or I'm better than them, or they wronged me, Don't fight the thought. Don't judge yourself for having it. Simply observe it. The moment you observe the ego, you are no longer it. You've created space between the awareness, you, and the thought, ego. That space is freedom. And fourth, understand that nothing you acquire, achieve, or become will ever satisfy the ego, because the ego's strategy is fundamentally flawed. It seeks completion through form. But completion can only be found in the formless, in the dimension of pure consciousness that you already are. You don't need to become it, you need to recognize it. Here's what this means for your life right now. You've been taught that your value comes from what you accomplish, what you own, what you achieve, that happiness is always one more success away. But the ego trap reveals a different truth. You are already complete. The sense of incompleteness you feel isn't because you lack anything external. It's because you've lost touch with the formless dimension of who you are. Sarah discovered this in the face of death, but you don't have to wait. Every time you derive your self-worth from something external, your bank account, your title, your Instagram followers, you strengthen the ego. And the ego can never rest because it's always threatened by the next person who has more, the next failure that could expose you, the next loss that could diminish you. But when you recognize yourself as the awareness behind all these forms, as the I am that exists before any labels are added, something shifts. The single most important takeaway? You are not the story you tell yourself about yourself. You are the consciousness that's aware of the story. Your mission, should you choose to accept it. For the next 24 hours, practice this. Whenever you notice yourself deriving your sense of self from something external, your appearance, your accomplishments, someone's opinion of you, pause and ask yourself Sarah's question. Has who I am become diminished? Don't think the answer. Feel into the awareness underneath the thought. Feel your I am-ness. Drop your experience in the comments. Be honest, because the moment you recognize the ego for what it is, you begin to free yourself from it. Remember, the prison isn't what you lack. The prison is believing you are incomplete. It's time to step out. I'll see you in the next one.